It's the Deep for the Week talk show. Are you ready to talk? Let's get deep for the week.
Hello, and thank you for watching the Deep for the Week show. I'm your host, Kali, and today's show is on politics. But before we get started, I'd like to remind you to like, share, and subscribe. And today, we love to hear your input. Please comment because as we are live for the first time, we want to hear back from you guys. We want to hear your input as well. So comment below. And if you really want to get deep with us, let us know, and we'll send you the link via inbox or via text. So you can also join us on the show if you just really got something to say. But again, today's show is on politics. And I have a guest with us today. Again, I am Kali, and we have today
Brenda Underwood.
hello, and thank you for joining us. I thank you for your time, and thank you for your input today. And so we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna try to keep it PG here today so that we can stay live on Facebook. If not, we'll have to take it strictly to YouTube. But if you guys keep it decent, we can keep it here. So again, today's show is on politics. Okay, so let's keep it cool, but let's give our input. I tried to get some Democrats to join us today, but I couldn't get many people. I wanted to get input on both sides. Brenda, what side are you on? Like, I don't know. I don't like to say side, but what?
I am a believer in Jesus Christ, so therefore I am voting biblically, not based on color of skin, not based on party, not based on what people are saying you should do, but based on what the Bible says. And I believe if we were more knowledgeable about the different parties, then I would like for us to be more informed, to make informed decisions instead of just making it because um, black man, black woman type of thing. It should be based on information, research that you've done, things that you looked into. And because I am a little older, I have been around for a long time. So I've been around when we had racism really bad and how things have changed over the years. So my um, perception of things are a little different than most people.
And that is exactly why I'm happy to have you on today, because I don't want just my demographics input. I want to have an input of your demographic, people, so that people of your peers can relate to as well.
Right.
I know it's harder for people that are older, my elders, to take my input because they've been through more and see more than I've been
Right.
through. So they're like, how can I listen to you? So I'm glad to have you here today to give that input, because you've been through more than I've been through, and you've seen more happen,
Right.
and you've seen what political voting right can do.
Right.
So let's get started today. Again, I'm not here to persuade anyone, or mislead anyone. We're just here to give our input and what we've learned from our research and our knowledge in
Right.
today. um so let's get started with just giving some information and some background on each party. I believe and on each person that's currently running. Again, we're not here to persuade you, but I'm probably coming from a certain point of, certain side, and you can figure that out later. Okay, so again, if you want to tap in with us remotely, you can let us know in the comments, and we'll try to get you in there before the show is over. You can also be anonymous, and you can just hear your voice if you don't want to be seen. Um, so now, if this is too deep for you, just tap out, because we're gonna go deep. We're gonna give information that may not fit well with you, but let's try to keep it clean as possible, you guys. So as I know, these cyber conversations, they can get intense. I love it, and I see that a lot of people are divided during this time of year. I don't think that it should divide us. We should learn from each other during this time more than anything, but it does cause a lot of ugliness, and that's why I'm having the show to kind of give a better input without the biasness and the argument and the you know the detachment. People are really, people will stop being friends with you over this
That's
stuff.
true.
Family members,
That's
everything.
true. I have been called out in my family because I do not go along with the standard pro people who. My question would be, how come we can't discuss things as adults who, if we have information, share? Sometimes somebody can say something that can make you research or think about something a little deeper than what you have been thinking about. Sometimes I think we skim across a subject. We don't really know a subject, but things that we picked up from different people that we've heard or some read about or TikTok or whatever social media, instead of really searching it out ourselves to find out exactly what's going on. I don't believe a lot of people understand that there's a Democrat platform and a Republican platform and an independent platform and a
Mm-hmm.
Green Party platform. Each political party has a platform. Maybe we should look at the platforms and discuss what they say they're really about, instead of listening to the rhetoric, the sound bites that people put together to make anybody say anything that they want to say. But maybe we should Google. We have Google. You can Google anything. Look up the Democratic Party. Look up the Republican Party, Green Party, and the Independent Party. Find
So,
out what they
for
mean.
those that do not know what the Green Party and the Independent Party, because my generation, even the younger generation, they may not know anything about what you mentioned. Can you elaborate on that a little bit to
Just a
inform
little bit. I don't know that much about
just
it.
what you
And
know?
the Green Party probably is more of the climate. Wanting They're looking more at the climate, how things affect the climate. They would be probably more in tune to um, like the EVs, the electrical vehicles, things that will stop pollution in our world, so to
Okay.
speak. That's what I think. I might be wrong. I
Okay.
didn't really look that one up. Independent is the fact that people say, I'm I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm independent. But they have a platform and it's just saying I'm not Republican and I'm not Democrat.
Okay.
We can all be independent, but not necessarily belong to the independent party. But just for saying you vote Democrat because you like some Democrats, you vote Republican because you like some Republicans. It doesn't mean that you are a bona fide Democrat or a bona fide Republican. It's just whatever. If somebody that's a Republican might have something that I like, somebody that's a Democrat might have something that I like. So we should be able to switch.
I think so too. Like, I don't think it should be like a football team where, like, this is my team forever.
Right.
Like, because there's gonna be people that come and go in those organizations that you may not agree with any of their
That's
views.
true.
And now, you got this mindset that I gotta be stuck with this color, or
Right.
this, Republican or Democrat,
Right.
whatever this title. And I don't think it should be that way. I think that, if you need to switch every 4 years because of the views and whoever,
Mm,
go for what you believe in and what's best for your environment, then that's what you should do. And I think that's what people should be voting according to, not, like you said, race or sex. So I just wanted to inform the younger or even people that are older that don't know what is a Democrat and a Republican. Um, some of you are not even into politics, and you just need to know this before you just go down there pressing dots. So if you like to learn more, it's basically two parties they examined the differences between, the policies and political positions of both parties. On issues such as taxes, the roles of the government, entitlements such as retirement, Social Security, Medicare, gun control, immigration, healthcare, abortion, environmental and policies and regulations and stuff like that. So these two parties dominate America's political landscape, but they differ. They differ like really now a lot. And
That's true.
so
That is true.
So like the demos are the left and the Republicans are the right. So if you guys hear that, you're like, what are they talking about when they say left and right? That's what they mean. And so demos are Democrats are supposedly more liberal and Republicans are supposedly more conservative, you guys. So the Democrat Party was started in 1828 and Republicans in a little bit later on. Okay. So I would like to say that years ago, like around that time, Black people were not Democrats. And for the reason why Democrats were more going for keeping Black people into slavery at that time. So we were more on the Republican side. And do you remember where the switch came? I did a little research, but you might.
Abraham Lincoln,
able to,
who set the slaves free, was Republican. And at one time, you had Black Republicans as Congress senators. This was, I guess, in the early 1800s, probably, way back then. A lot of people don't know that there was a war called the Civil War, which was the North against the South. The South wanted slavery, and the North didn't want slavery. The South was more Democrat than Republican. So when you look at the history, you would wonder, Lyndon Baines Johnson, back in let's see, Kennedy, he became president after John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And he made a statement, and you can Google this, where he said that they were going to keep the Negroes at that time Democrat for 200 years. And if we get them to do what we want them, which is control, really, we can control them. And how did they feel they could control us? By giving us things. They gave us the Section 8, but it wasn't called Section 8 back then. They gave us food stamps. They gave us things. They removed the men from the homes, and because put you on welfare. Remove the men, the fathers out of the homes, because at one time there were more Black families, father and mother, two parent families, than anything. And then once the government said, hey, we can give you X amount of money.
Basically, if you're single.
Right. You remove the man out the house.
And it's still like that. Y'all know when you go apply, they make you feel like you have to hide the man's name on that application to get the most out of those benefits. Even Section 8. And it's still like that. That women are still going through that today. So those programs still exist. That agenda still exists.
Of course, 200 years we've been cursed.
Anyway. I hope y'all got them Q-tips. Clean these wax out, because you guys need to hear this, and really listen.
I mean, that was in the 60s. So we're in 2024. Things have changed. Things have gotten better from when I was growing up. And back in the 50s, you could take a train from Detroit down south, air conditioned, fluorescent lights and stuff. But when you got to Toledo, because once you got to Toledo, they would take the Black people off and put them in other cars that didn't have the air condition. and the fluorescent bulbs,
Mm.
the lights. So things change once, and if you pass the Mason-Dixon line, it was really bad. That's why back then children would go down, parents would send their children down south. School got out June 3rd, June 4th. Train station was loaded with kids going south for the summer.
Mm.
And we would carry our lunches because we couldn't buy food on the train going down, so or coming back either. So you always had lunch bags to take with you. But it was different. It was different. Um, Things have changed. People say they haven't, but they have. Down south, I couldn't walk down. If I was walking down the street and somebody, a white person was coming toward me, a Caucasian, I had to walk around them. I went off the sidewalk, walked around them. Things have changed, but we're making it worse for ourselves because we're hating ourselves. And why? We have come a long way. More education. I mean, things that we didn't have back then, you got now. You can go, at one time, blacks could not buy Cadillacs.
Mm.
You could only
And
buy.
that's why we love them so much. Is that why we get the Cadillacs?
You
and be
could
like,
not buy them.
You
Right.
can't tell me now.
Right.
Like, is that? Oh my goodness,
But
baby.
but like I said, there's things that we
I didn't know
we
that.
don't know about.
I didn't know that.
Oh no, you could not. You could not. And well, you could buy Chrysler, but you couldn't buy a Cadillac.
Mm.
So it's like I said, things have changed. You can buy anything. You can buy a Bentley if you got the money. You can buy anything you want. You can move anywhere you want. I'm not saying everybody is accepting of people, regardless of what race. If it doesn't matter. We need to understand, and because I am a believer in Jesus Christ, and because the Bible says we are made in God's image, I am to accept people regardless of, and we should. Everybody has the same problems. You cut us, we all bleed red. That's why blood is universal. Anybody, if you got old, you can go with anybody. But it's just the fact that we don't accept. Why do we hate people because they're different from us? Why?
This time of the year shows it more than
anything. And that's true because of the election coming. And it doesn't help when you have advertisement. And if that's all you're hearing, if all you're watching is media and all you're hearing is negative, 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 then you start picking up on that. And then your attitude changes. And we become nasty toward somebody because they don't. My brother told me, well, because I didn't vote for Barack Obama, I was not black. And I'm like, excuse me?
Mm.
He hung up on me because I did not vote. Say I was voting for Barack Obama. Color of the skin doesn't matter. Issues matter to me. Barack Obama, at that time, Senator Barack Obama was for the LGBT, nothing against them. Lifestyle. I did not agree with the lifestyle, not the people, the lifestyle. And when you go through life, you are not going to agree with everything everybody does. So you can't, doesn't mean I hate you.
Right.
And we all should understand a phobia means fear. I'm not fearful of anything. I'm not homophobic. Not at all.
Yeah, me neither. I have gay friends. I've embraced trans people. I don't have anything against anyone's sexual orientation, anyone's race. I have friends of every creed, and being from LA, I have friends of every race, and that's not an issue for me. I go off of character strictly, and so that's what I hope again people are voting off of. And I don't think people know enough about Kamala's character, but what they should know and what they should be analyzing is that she has been in the seat for
3.5 years, almost 4 years, and we still have the same problems that she says that she has policies for. So if those policies were perfect, that they enacted when the Biden-Harris administration started back in 21, then we should be doing good, but we're not. And because I'm hearing people say, advertisements, you don't want to go back. Don't want to go back to what? That's my question. I don't want to go back to what? I did not like 21 to, I mean, grapes, $5.99 a pound. Come on. I a pineapple,
I'm
a
telling
whole
you.
pineapple, $8.99.
They're not realizing it. Are they really? I mean, because maybe they getting free money or something, that EDD. So they like, oh no, swipe the card. I'm over here like,
Right.
you
Right.
know, it's absurd. It's crazy. So in the gas, it just goes up and down. It's like you can't really write a budget.
No, you
And
can't.
you
It
know,
changes.
mhm.
It does change. But I just believe if we need to look at issues, let's go apples to apples, oranges to oranges, not based on a black woman or a black man. So what's wrong with having a Native American president or having an Asian president? Or why are we, and I guess I'm the wrong person to talk about this, but I have a problem with the fact that we think we're the only ones that have been enslaved. Every race out there has been enslaved. Every race.
Okay.
So since every race has been enslaved, why do we think? I know my great grandfather was a slave. I knew my great grandfather. A lot of us out here don't know those people who were slaves. I
Mhm.
knew my great grandfather and my great grandmother who were both slaves. In fact, his father was the master. His Captain Jack was his name. So I know my history. We need to know our history. We don't know our history. You need to know where you came from. Where are you going? Because we have a black president, does that make things better?
I mean, we have to ask, what did Obama do? Like I would love to hear people tell me what they think Obama has done.
I would like that too.
I don't really. I can't. I can't.
What has Biden done? What has
Nothing.
Vice President Kamala Harris done?
I mean, I believe you should have. I mean, you do. I don't really. Okay. See, now that's the thing. I've been doing my research more on this. Like, what type of input does a vice president have? You know what I mean? Like, what kind of you did say so? Because clearly she has none. You know what I mean? Like, she's done nothing, and she's saying all these things she's going to do now. But why haven't you done this so far? Why, or at least given your input that these things need to be addressed?
I totally agree. We should. Let's sit down and talk about it. Why we have to fight? I shouldn't have to fight anyone because you have different beliefs. We can talk about it. Maybe you can give me some information that might make me think. Maybe I can give you some information that might make you think. That's all it's about. Sitting down at I always say go neutral, a restaurant, sitting down, coffee, dessert, whatever, and just talk. Let's talk instead of getting mad because you can hear the anger in people when you don't want to go, when you
On
don't
their side,
agree
yeah.
with what they're saying. The anger, that hate rises up. And I'm like, it's not that serious.
It's not. And you can't learn that way either. You can't get any knowledge being argumentative and aggressive that way. You know what I mean? You can't receive anything like that. So I always, like I told on my last show, I mentioned, like, I can sit in a room with KKKs and
Doesn't matter.
get,
That's
we
true.
can get into a deep conversation because I'm not thinking about them being the KKK. I'm listening to what I can get from them.
Right.
My thing is, I'm gonna learn. Everybody has been through something. Everybody, everybody goes off of experience. So why are they that way? And if I listen hard enough, I'll figure out why. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
And so that's what this is all about. You know what I mean? If you listen hard enough, you do enough research, you'll figure out why and what you need to get out of the person. And I just don't think people do that around voting season. They go off of, it's like America is like a big high school. You know, it's like, oh, whatever my friends are doing.
That's true.
You know.
That's true. And whatever they say, I'm gonna go along with what they say.
Yeah. And it's not healthy. Like, you know, you keep seeing Trump, like he recently got shot at again. You know, this
Right.
time I don't see too many people cheering, but the last time I was like, that's kind of ugly. You know, they're really cheering about this man getting shot in the ear. And I'm just like, what religion, what Bible, what God do y'all serve? You know, because it don't matter if you like someone or not, you want to see them be shot in the head, in the ear,
I know.
you know. So it just shows how ugly this time gets.
And we have gotten ugly based on rhetoric that we don't even know where it came from. All these things that people are saying, how do we know if it's true? We don't.
Most of the time we find out that it is or it's not after you do your own research. Like, you know, for example, they made the example of Trump saying, you know, he's crazy because he mentioned the people eating animals, but then you go do your own research
and they are eating animals down
there's
there.
People showing them on the pits. There's people crying. There's people in rage, and you know, what is that?
Yes. And same thing with that Agenda 2025.
Now people need to know more about that. Trump did not write that.
No, he did not. Heritage Foundation wrote that.
Okay.
And that was put out by Heritage Foundation. In fact, Heritage Foundation, the president said that Trump had no knowledge about this. But because we're hearing commercials, and the Bible says that faith comes by hearing. And if you keep hearing something, then you start eventually believing what you're hearing. And that's, if I keep, regardless if it's right or wrong, if I keep saying it, you're going to eventually believe it unless you do your research. I think worrying about 2025 isn't the case. There's an agenda out there called 2030 that we need to be reading about, because the 2030 is when we become one world government, one world religion, one world order.
Now, who's behind 2030?
A whole lot of people who got money. Lots of money.
And so you got
they're the they meet in I don't know if it's called Y7 or whatever, but the billionaires. You have Gates, who's trying to block out the sun. I don't know what book he learned from, but if you block out the sun, things die. But
you can't grow anything.
I mean, know, but he wants to block out the sun. But the agenda for 2030 is the fact that they said you won't have anything and you'll love not having anything. They're going to take away a lot of things. Lots. So houses, you're eventually
land, you won't be able to own anything.
You won't be able to own
I've
anything.
kind of heard something about this, what you're talking about, but I haven't done too much research, you know, because I'm distracted by the 2025. But I need to do more research into that.
It's not the 2025 is not taking away Black people anything. It's not. It's read it. Don't listen to rhetoric.
Well, they're reading and highlighting the parts that make it seem like, you know, you're going to be working overtime for free. You're going to be cops are going to be able to kill Black people and not go to jail. They're reading those parts, and those are the parts that they're selling right now. You know what I mean? To get them to be like, you know, and you know, and again, they got people thinking Trump is the one that, and his organization is the one that's behind this.
No, the Heritage Foundation.
You guys look up Heritage Foundation.
Google. That's why you have Google, Alexa, or Sirius, or whoever you have. Syria, not Sirius, but Syria, and find out this information. It is a one-sided. if we can get everybody to, if the government can get you to go along with what their agenda is, you're going to be stripped of a lot of things. The government is they're out there. They're there to, and not everybody, but we need to be doing research and not listening to rhetoric, and read it, learn for yourself. And if you'll look at things a little different, and it's not a black white thing, it's people. It's all about people.
And it's not a red or
stories.
blue thing.
No,
it changes
no.
all the time, because like we mentioned earlier, at one point, the left were more, for us, and then it changes according to what goes for them. Like when it changed for them, like how with the Civil War, and the northern industrialists had grown rich from war,
Mhm.
and that's when the factories start entering into politics, and they no longer felt they needed us. So that's when they stopped, doing as much that supported black rights at that time, and so like it's basically like politics, they use cultures and races for their benefit too,
Right. That's true.
and they seem to use ours more than any, because we're so easily persuaded.
Gullible.
So gullible. It's like I might lose some viewers, but I hate this time of year. And this, every 4 years it comes around, it reminds me, and it just makes me like, I can see how we were so easily put, if we did come from Africa, because I have my views on that. I don't think all slaves came from Africa, but if we, the ones that did, or the ones that came from somewhere other than America, I see how we were so easily persuaded. I mean, you can tell us anything.
And we fall for it.
And go hard for it.
Yes,
like
we do.
we'll detach for it. And it's like, I think that's a lot of reason why people decide to go with the crowd, because they're afraid to be isolated and detached from, and, ostracized because of their beliefs, or what they, not even beliefs, of what their knowledge is, what they know, So I encourage people to do more research. Like all this stuff that we're talking about, like she said, you can find it on Google.
We should know what the United States, the Constitution of the United States. You should have an idea about that. There's a little booklet you can get that for the Constitution and for the Bill of Rights. We need to have information, and we don't have information. So when you don't have information, you can't make an informed decision. I am a believer in making an informed decision. I believe in prayer. I believe in researching, finding out for myself, not just listening to what people are saying, but research it. Donald Trump is not, as long as Donald Trump was a Democrat, passing out money to the Democrats, they loved him. When he made a decision, he was on Oprah show. So this was a little while ago when Oprah had her show. He was on there, and she asked Donald Trump a question. She said, "Would you ever run for president?" And he said, "If I see the country not going the way it should be going," he said, "Yes, I would run." But back then, NAACP gave him awards. He was getting awards from all of these, well, they're probably deceased now, a lot of them, but a lot of people was like his friend, because he was a Democrat and he was supporting Democrats. But when he came down, I didn't see all of this, but they said he came down the escalator and said he was running as a Republican. Everybody got mad because he did not come up through the ranks. Most politicians come in going through the government as something, as a congressperson or activist or something. But he didn't do that. But he's we need to research. When people are negative toward us, why do we still vote for them?
You know, so I've done some research. You mentioned Donald Trump has got an award from the NAACP. I've done some research on to kind of debunk the rumor of him being racist. Now, granted, he may have some followers that are racist. Granted, his parents,
That's true.
maybe his parents and his elders may have been, but that doesn't make him one. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I have friends that have racist parents. That doesn't make them racist. But I do know that there's rumor of him funding the Black Panthers. And Jesse Jackson when he ran for president.
He did. He supported him.
And so
When Jesse Jackson ran, he did support.
So, you know, there's
I don't know about the Black Panthers because
that's why I said rumors. I don't know. I was doing some research and there was one that spoke on it, but he has dementia now, so people are like he can't really be.
Oh,
but that's what his son is saying. But he's saying when he went to college with Trump helped fund them, and that may be why his parents held out on giving him as much money because they found out he was funding organizations.
Well, sometimes if a person comes and say, you know, take up a donation, you don't always. I'm not making excuses. He could have.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are just, like I said, that's allegedly, those are rumors I heard, but I did hear about the NAACP as well. And then, like, I heard him having, being associated with Muhammad Ali and Rosa Parks and other powerful Black people that I don't think would have been associated with him if they felt he was racist and if he wasn't contributing to a cause of theirs. There's, so, you guys need to do your own research on
That's true.
What makes Trump's racist. Those little skits, like you mentioned, and those little parts and pieces that they get out of the media, then they put them together, and those sound bites that make him sound or whatever ignorant or racist. You guys, like I said, do your own research on that, because like after the last debate, they had some saying that the channel, I forget, CNN or wherever they were, the moderators were being biased. ABC were being biased, and clearly, because we all see the evidence of the things that some of the things he was saying was true, and they try to make the man out to be crazy, like, oh, who's eating cats, and again, do your research on Haitian people. They do that, and they're a descendant of my people, what I'm saying? So, like, people will be thinking, I should be standing up for them because they're, but no, they do what they do. That's their culture.
That's true.
And it could be scary because that is not our culture. That's not what we do. You got your neighbor, you look over, you have a cat as a pet or a dog as a pet, and your neighbor's barbecuing one. That can be terrifying.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So, again, do your research. No one's trying to make them people out to be something they're not. That's their culture, but that is not ours. We didn't pay taxes in our neighborhood to see that, and again, something needs to be done about that. It's not okay that they're letting immigrants with such a different culture. It's a culture shock coming to our neighborhoods that we pay taxes. They're getting our free benefits that I can say I can't get. I've been denied food stamps every time. So when I hear that they're getting money and stuff, it's just like, how? Maybe I should just go down there and say I'm one of them and I don't have a social. And like,
what you have to do is, go to Mexico and come back
through the whole. Yes, I've said that a couple times.
Because in California is getting ridiculous with giving $150,000 to buy homes.
See, okay, and people think that that's a lie because we've been talking about that on Facebook, and people are like, "Oh, that's rumor." No, it is not.
No, that is true. Newsom, what's his name? Gavin Newsom signed that. They are giving them $150,000 to purchase a home. In fact, Vice President Harris made the statement, if you're a first-time homeowner, you can get $25,000 to purchase a home. But is that money to the people who are Americans in the United States, or is that for people who have come across the border illegally? Are we encouraging, is this administration encouraging illegal, they want to say undocumented, which still is illegal because you haven't come through the way everybody else comes through, to receive, when you notice they're coming across the border. And if they've been walking for all this time, because I'm thinking they're flying them in, from my understanding, they're flying them in. They are coming in there. They don't look like they've been through a lot.
In distress.
They're clean. They got cell phones. They
backpacks
and they don't look like they're.
I've heard that they actually are down there going door to door. I don't know who told me. I forget. I was doing some talking about politics, and I heard they're going door to door down there. You know, like, come on. And so that's just like,
I do have, my niece has a friend who's a guard, border patrol down in Texas. Remember when they had the shortage on baby formula?
mm-hmm.
It's down at the border.
Giving it
They have border guards keeping and the warehouses. It's warehouses of stuff down there. They patrol and they protect it from us because they're giving it to the they get the money, they get the formulas, the diapers, they're getting the clothes. Those who are coming across, regardless if they're, sometimes I think I know too much. Regardless of who they are, because everybody that comes across the border is not from South America.
Okay, I was just gonna hit on that. We got the enemy coming. I mean, you know, we're at odds with some of these people. You see young, strong Chinese, you know, that's kind of eerie, you know. And then you got later on, you see on the news, I don't know, you know, a lot of people don't watch the news, but then later on you see on the news Chinese people pretending to deliver pizza to a military base.
Oh, right.
You know, you just letting these people in to do these things.
Right.
And then, you know, they're really informants or they're people. How did they get that close? How did they get in here? You know what I mean? They're coming right through that border.
Nobody's asking any questions. Because why are people coming? I mean, if you're in China, you can fly in from China. You can fly in from Sudan. You can fly in
right to Mexico.
But they're coming in through Mexico without identification, without anything. And we think we're safe. I think we need to wake up.
But look what we got to go through to get in and out of states and countries to fly. And these people can just walk right on through.
Right. I read where Sweden is giving them, they're giving the migrants $35,000 to leave.
Get the hell on.
Leave. Please leave. Sweden is getting rid of them because there are a lot of countries that have opened their borders for them, shut them down. Poland, I don't know if you ever listened to I don't know if he's a ambassador or president of Poland. We don't give them nothing. They're not allowed. They're not allowed in Poland. They do not allow any immigrants in Poland. And I'm like, wow, but I understand why, because it taxes our finances. Where's all this money coming from? Who's paying the billions of dollars to these cities that are taking in migrants, the sanctuary cities? They got to feed them. They got to put them up. They gotta, who's giving them the money? Where's the
We
money
are.
coming from? We work, we pay taxes. So where's that money? It goes to that city, well, immigration, and they take care of the people who are coming in illegally, who can't read English, can't speak English, giving them driver's license. You know why?
Because then they can vote.
Yes. So giving them driver's license. And I'm wondering, how can they read the
Right.
how can they read it? Anyway.
Yeah.
But
You guys have to pay attention to all of this because it's like, I don't know if people remember a couple years back when California started giving the immigrants driver's license. And do you know how many is there?
a lot.
And no one is against race or people coming into this country. It's just there's people here there's still people here right now that came in illegally that they're deporting but letting these people in, if y'all
Right.
don't know.
Right.
Like, I just watched a lady's video on TikTok and her husband was just deported not too long ago, like a couple months ago. But I mean, it's like, what's the point in spending our money deporting people that were here already,
Well,
defeating the law?
they deport them and they let them come back because somebody who murdered somebody been deported 3 times. But he still got back into the country. And you need to be aware. I'm not saying everybody that's coming in from different countries are bad. I'm not going to say that.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's not. There are probably people who are being oppressed, depressed, suppressed in different countries. But if we don't watch it, the United States is going to look like Venezuela. And I don't know how much you know about that country. That was a flourishing country. Socialism got in. Now we eliminate the middle class. So now all you have is poor and rich.
Mm.
The middle class is eliminated.
Mm.
And we need to watch it, because at one time the middle class got hit really bad back in the early 2000s, I think, when was it the mortgages and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
We got hit bad.
I was working in that industry at that time and it just went boom. You know what I mean? Yeah. 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 So, I want to mention some things that positive things that Trump has done. And I'm not going towards race like some people, they like, what has he done for our people? I'm just in general, so he's closed the borders. Everybody called him crazy for that, but maybe he's seen something coming.
True.
They called him racist and all these names for that. That's another reason why they called him racist. He gave money to the HBCUs, and Biden opened the borders, and Biden took that money back as soon as he got into office from the HBCUs. Trump pardoned a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people right before he left. And
in fact, the mayor of Detroit.
Mm-hmm. And just criminal reform, he's helped fund black. He's just done a lot of stuff that people don't know about when it comes to, if you want to go off of race. And I would think you guys need to do more research on that. And you know what's crazy though? If you don't kind of know this information offhand, when you do Google it, it's kind of hard to find now during this time.
Oh, they're removing it.
Oh yeah. It's like, what's going on? So you gotta, tap in. You gotta like know how to Google it. But it's there for you guys. It's there for you guys. I like for people to do their own research because like I said, people like to think that you're gearing them or persuading them toward what you think is the better party. But all this stuff is there for you guys to see. I just really wanted to have this show, and again with you, someone that is Christian, African American, of older age, because a lot of people your age and of your religious background are strictly Kamala. And again, that's because they think she's a black woman. Now let's talk about that. Nationality and race are two different things. She
Mhm.
and I think that you guys need to do your research on that.
When she first became, and I think she came in the Senate as a Indian.
Okay.
She came in. She was the first Indian
Indian.
senator from, I guess, in the Senate. Period. At that time. Um, but like I see, and when people say, "Well, she's black," well, that depends. Some people who are, if you're biracial, you can claim anything you want to claim.
Mm.
I mean, really, you can. People want, at one time they said if you had, I think it's 1/8 of black blood, you are
Black.
black.
So maybe she got like an eighth. I don't know. But
Well, she didn't. But when she came into the Senate, she said she came in as the first Indian from Pakistan, India, senator.
yeah. So she didn't identify, like Trump said,
She didn't.
as black until it was beneficial to her. And because they know how we feel about stuff like that, how easily we're persuaded with stuff like that.
My question would be why? Why would a person of color vote for someone, a person of color, based on the color of the skin? They could be the bottom of the barrel.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, wasn't it one of our own kind? And I mentioned this during this time, or any time that people are persuaded, just be, oh, he's black, I'm voting for him because he's black, I trust him because of that. You know, it was, from what history says, some of our own kind that persuaded us into slavery.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And so, and I believe that to be true.
That's true.
I think there was people that was like, I'll give you the mansion and you won't be one, but I need you to get them over there to be one, and you know, the house nigga. You know what I mean? Whatever.
The slavery came about in any war. Now I'm going back, way back, beginning of time. When you have wars, you have people who are conquered, and the person who's conquered, they become the slaves of that victorious army. They go and they take everything from them and make them slaves. So that happens in any war. Any war. When the wars nowadays, when we have war and whoever's victorious, what they do now is take care of that country until that country gets back on its feet, so to speak. But war, you take, somebody loses, they become slaves. You either put them in jail, or now they do, or but back then they became your slave. So slavery is not something that's black. Slavery is anybody in any race that's out there.
And if you read and you do a little research, you will see, like you said, a lot of races have been slaves before.
Every race.
I think that we feel like we suffer the most from it because we're still suffering from it because of what you said, of our own ways sometimes, our lack of knowledge. And
we're not a victim.
You don't have to be anymore.
You don't have to be a victim. You can be a victim, but that's a choice. We don't have to be victims. We can be victorious in anything that we accomplish. You have a lot of things that the black man, black woman invented over years. If you go and you look that up, there's a lot of things out there. The street lights, there are things that people never really talk about that Black people have invented. So we aren't victims. I don't, I counsel women who find themselves in an unplanned pregnancy. I volunteer at a pregnancy center. And just because you have a baby does not necessarily mean your life is over. God gifted you with talents and and you have talents, you have giftings. You can take that and become whatever you want to be. You don't have to let something stop you or hinder you from progressing in life. We don't have to say, well, okay, I can't do this because of whatever. The only reason you can't do something is because of you saying you can't do something. If you start believing in who you are and that you have value, you can do and become anything that you want to. I'm sure a lot of people in politics never thought that they would be in politics, but ended up in politics. That same thing goes for being some people start out wanting to be a football player or a basketball player, but it's all based on money.
Some people's dreams, and that's not a good
No,
thing to base your dreams on.
no, because you in physical sports, you can get hurt. So you can't say I'm going to be but we have giftings, and people might be in sports, get hurt, and then do something else and become even better or greater than if they'd have been a sports player.
Oh yeah, and there's so many things you can do in sports too. I tell people that all the time. Like, don't just think to be a player. There's
That's true.
Coaching,
That's true.
There's all kind of stuff. But you mentioned working at a
pregnancy center,
and so let's get on abortion a little bit. People are like, thinking that that's one of the issues that they use to say that Trump is a dictator, because they say that he wants to control your rights to be able to abort. And I think he was just more so, we spoke about this a couple weeks ago. I think he was just more so pointing out the fact that a lot of those clinics are in our neighborhoods.
I've been involved in pregnancy centers since 1999. So I know stats. I know I've had 2 abortions. I know what I'm talking about. Number one, every state has passed laws to say you can abort. Okay. What Roe versus Wade did, and that was only passed because of teenagers. We got to remember that. Because teenagers were getting pregnant, and they whoever they are didn't want teenagers to be saddled with children. So they passed that, kind of helped pass the law for Roe versus Wade, based on the fact that there were a lot of teenagers getting pregnant. The Planned Parenthood in the city of Detroit has over 17, at that time, there were 17 Planned Parenthoods in the city of Detroit. None in the suburbs. None in the suburbs. So eventually we have now, I think you might have one every so often, but not as much as in the city of Detroit. When you go into urban areas, they always have more abortion centers. And that's because if we really go into the history of Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger wanted to eliminate the Black race. And if you keep encouraging people to get abortions, you will eliminate a race. So Roe versus, when they reversed it, all it did is took the power away from the federal government but the states, you can still get an abortion. And I'm sorry, Vice President um, Harris was wrong when she's saying that they don't abort up to the time of delivery, and they do. You can get an abortion up to 9 months. And if there's different, I think they use 2 procedures to do it, but you can't say they don't do it. They do. They do it in Michigan. They do it in every state, even though legally you only can abort up to 24 weeks, which is 6 months if you really think about it.
I've had an abortion at that age, at that gestation stage, so I know that is real.
But see, when I got abortion, when they first came out with legalized it, in order to get an abortion, you had to have 3 doctors. OBGYN doctors letters stating that you were only up to 12 weeks. Now you go in and you get an abortion. They don't care what age you are because they can backdate paperwork. So look.
and who knows? I mean, when you pull a baby out at that stage, even at 6 months, I've had now this is the thing. I've had a abortion at that stage at 24 weeks, and then I've had a baby that's alive today at 29 weeks. So, I just want to know what the hell if they're doing that at 9 months, what they doing with that baby? Because
aborted babies' parts are being used. They're using the aborted baby parts now.
And I believe that. Like this stuff, I mean, people be, you guys are, you conspiracy theorists, you guys are, no. But it gets a lot deeper than y'all really, and you guys hear about all these missing kids and all this stuff, and you guys just kind of just let this go. Woo. You hear about all this molestation and this stuff and these islands and this and that. And it's just like, and then you see all these celebrities are being cracked down on, and you guys are just kind of ignoring this stuff a little too much. It's not, the boogeyman. It's not like, a monster story. It's not like something that I believe too. Like every little mystery, every little theory comes from something. It's just a stretched lie, even if it is a lie. It was one, some part of it is true. And so I think you should always do your research when something sounds too good to be true, or, it sounds too unreal or whatever. And you'll find something on it.
That's true.
You will.
That's true. You definitely will find something out there on it. But people, just because she said that Vice President Harris said, I heard her speak out of her mouth that they're not doing abortions up to 9 months. That's a lie. They are doing abortions up to 9 months. And I'm part of, well, I won't say belong. There's an organization out there called A21, and it's for survivors of abortion. See, a lot of people don't know that there are babies who have lived, who've been aborted and lived.
Because I'm thinking if somebody is aborted at that age, at that gestation age, yeah, they can live. And I'm like, if they live after they snatch them out, do they kill them or do they keep them? And do they tell the parents?
Now, the ones I'm talking about are all over the age of 18, 20, 30s. Okay, so they're older. I don't know what they're doing now. Nowadays, they're not. If a baby is born after a botched abortion, they leave it there to die. They do not take care of it. Okay, so they leave it to die. But the organization, the ministry that started with aborted children who were survivors, Sylvester Stallone is a survivor of abortion. Oh yeah, he's talked about it. So yeah, so we.
Oh my God, is that why he little? funny in the
All
face.
right. All right.
He does have a little special look to him now that you said.
But yeah.
Oh my
But there
goodness.
are. I met
Oh.
at the pregnancy center. We had her name is Gianna. With she had cerebral palsy, but she was a survivor.
Really?
She spoke at our banquet. So this is people can't say they aren't survivors. They are, and like I said, these are older.
Mm.
So I don't know what they're doing now.
The people did they know their parents? The one that you know?
She met her birth mother.
Oh my gosh.
Eventually, she was adopted, but then she met her birth mother when she got older.
That
So,
is so interesting.
yeah,
Oh my
so
goodness.
it's so don't believe that there aren't survivors of abortions because
So
they
when
are.
I want to interview her. Like when they survive, where do they take them? Where do they go? Like into
They go into at that time they would put them into if they survived back then, they put them in they took them to the hospital before. They take them to the hospital so they would get the treatment that they needed.
Oh my
And then the
goodness.
children would be adopted.
Wow. That is very interesting, you guys. Oh my God. See, now you're going to have me all night with my coffee. Like, because that is very
Right.
interesting. Because I mean, I've always had those thoughts like, okay, if a baby can survive at almost, I've seen people have babies at 5.5 weeks, almost 6 months. Then, yeah, and then they're getting abortions at that gestation
Mhm.
stage. And then, so, yeah.
They've always said if a baby, if they had the equipment for a premature baby, 20 weeks, if they had the equipment that small, now they do. Now they do. But they could have saved a lot more babies. But a baby is born if they can be premature, and babies do live. You've seen them little babies about this big. The mother has them on the chest, or the father, on their naked chest to get them to feel the heat from their bodies and stuff. But you see how I mean,
my twins were born bite size, like they could fit in my hands, and couldn't fit no diaper that was ever,
right.
And they looked like little squirrels with they didn't have no nails, no hair, no eyebrows, nothing. Like, yeah, they looked like they didn't have, you could see all their veins in their body, you could see their heart through their skin.
Right.
But they lived, they're grown.
And people like to say, well, they don't want to call it aborting babies. They want to call it fetuses. Fetus is baby. It's Latin, really, for little one. But we use words and we don't know what they mean. So we do need to learn that. But yeah.
Yeah. See, so now you guys can look deeper into why they want to control not you being able to get an abortion, but maybe gestation. If you've ever gotten an abortion past 4 months, now it's got you wondering, like, okay, what they do with my baby, And so I don't think it's a control. It's just to not to control your rights, to control the numbers, and where they're doing and who they're doing that to. The abortion thing, who are they allowing, and who's getting, if you look at the numbers of, it's a lot of African American people getting abortions, and if between that and the police killing us and us killing each other,
it's not that many police. When you look at stats, it's not the
it's
police.
More us, huh?
It's more us killing us.
That part, yeah, and us killing our own babies,
right? Right. And see, people don't understand. Before the abortions were legal, people were doing backstreet abortions. Abortion has been around forever.
Backstreet abortions. Would they like a pill, or they just
no?
Like
I had a backstreet abortion. A backstreet abortion is when they use a catheter and a coat hanger.
Oh my Lord! And then it works, and
well, you get infection. You bleed, almost bleed to death. But Yeah.
Oh my Lord. And what's the gestation that so that's like that in that movie, then what's that movie? I forgot what that movie's called when the lady was doing that.
Well, there's people. I think they
And it
have
was
been
based on
movies
back in the
about
day.
about
Mhm.
backstreet abortions, and that was another reason that they wanted, because they were saying backstreet abortion. But people been doctors have been giving abortions in their office for years. So she would have been, my aunt had one that the doctor did in his office. So, and she was like, when she died, she was 80 something. So I'm talking, abortions have been around. It's not nothing new. It's been around for years. And when people, celebrities get pregnant, because Hollywood, so they had abortions. So it's not something that's new, but it's the fact that with Planned Parenthood, they singled out the Black community. That's
They had
their
an
purpose,
agenda
to get rid of. And if you listen to her, if you read her agenda, Margaret Sanger,
Sanger. You guys need to look up Margaret Sanger.
Sanger.
Okay.
Her thing was to get rid of the Negro.
So go back. Like I said, there's something behind everything. So you guys are like, I don't, this man wants to tell us what to do with our body and this and that and the other. There is more to what you guys, the media is not pro-Trump. So they're not showing you, what is positive behind his agenda. They're only going to make it seem negative and dictate, like he's becoming a dictator. He's trying to control you. He's trying to take your rights away. His people are crazy. His people are racist. And like I said, he may have people that are racist that follow him, that are pro-Trump, want to make America great again in their eyes, whatever. But really do your research on the man himself, what he's done, business-wise. I do think that America is overall big corporate, big business, and it does need someone that is business minded to run it. So I don't think
the government is a business.
Yeah, that's why it was created. Yeah, so it's like to me, in my eyes, it's a huge corporation. So it needs someone that's corporate minded and successful in business to run it.
That's true.
I believe so.
Evidently, the politics is not working.
No, and I think it worked a little better under his wing, with his
knowledge.
With his knowledge, you guys want to call it his dictation, whatever. But if you look at the prices and the interest rates and the way things were rolling, it was better than, way better than now. It's not going to be the 90s again, you guys. You know what I'm saying? And we had some times then that it wasn't that great, because you guys voted because someone loved Black people and they said they smoke weed. You know what I mean? And so this happens a lot, and we get nothing out of it. So this time I just hope that you guys do your research. Who is Trump to you? Who was Kamala to you? Don't go off of, what these people stormed into some building. I don't really think he had too much to do with that. Like, they're trying to make it. Some people are gonna do what they want to do, even if he said don't do it. I think, really go off of what someone's gonna do for you, what someone's going to benefit you in your community, in your, maybe even your culture, maybe your religion, whatever you need help in fixing in. That's how you vote. And then don't forget to vote locally as well, the same way.
Right. You have to, we should vote based on the fact of issues. There are a lot of things. It's not just the president. It starts down at the city council. It starts with the mayor. When you look at the demographics of the United States, your urban cities are pretty much run by Democrat mayors.
Mm-hmm.
And they are
doing so great.
not.
Not
And I
allowed.
have to say, Detroit is doing better than some of these other cities.
In California, y'all wonder why y'all gas so high? Y'all voting Democrat.
Well, number one, the Gavin, Gavin Newsom, who's governor of California, wants to charge what's that? Chevron gas
Mhm.
company $1 a barrel extra. They put out 250,000 barrels a day.
Mm.
They're moving to Texas.
They said bye bye with that bullshit. You see them say so they're just gonna overcharge everybody in California. It's just ridiculous. And so knowing how to vote is important, and knowing what people are behind and what they support and what what they're doing with these companies that affect you. You
Right,
need gas.
right.
You need gas. You need
Right.
food.
Right.
So you need to understand. And I believe all of them are being paid to do what they do. Overall, they all benefit from these companies. If you do this, we'll break you off. I think that's all. It's all about that at the end of the day. So
It's all about money.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Mm-hmm. So basically, just make sure your money is going where you want it to go, and it's not going to waste. And because this last 4 years, we've seen a lot of money go to waste, and we haven't seen really a lot come out of it.
Are they making money? We at one time, Fort Knox had the gold. That's where the gold was kept. I don't know if we have gold.
I was going to say, is there even any gold in that building
I
anymore?
don't know, but I know they print money.
And there's rumor there's no more gold in that building.
That's what I've heard, but they're printing money. So, but you got countries that are starting to say we don't want the dollar. The American dollar.
It's not backed by nothing. I believe that's what all them cast for gold signs were. You've seen that for like 5 years, 10 years.
Right.
You're like, why you see these signs everywhere? Why, and people were just giving that gold away, and it's like, what was they wanted all that gold, because there's none there. They need to have something to put in there.
Well, now if China, Russia, and some other countries will not be accepting the dollar. So we have to go digital. Read up on that. Because if we go digital.
And while we were having a debate, that's something major happened with that, I believe, as well. The night we had the debate.
There's
distractions.
See what we do. Thank you. That's it. Distractions. If I get you over here, I'm doing this over here, and you don't know about it. And I believe that's a lot of that is going on.
Oh yeah.
But
it's so easy to do it here to us.
Well, yeah.
You can make a song. They not like us, and we'll be distracted by that for 30 days. So even 90. So,
but that's to keep you from understanding what's going on. Just because there's smoke doesn't mean there's a fire there. And we got to start looking at, okay, if they're saying this is so important, what are they doing over here? Because they are doing something.
Oh, yes,
they are doing something.
Yes, and I don't feel secure with. I mean, as much as I would love to see a Black woman in authority, as much as I'd love to be in higher positions, like I said before, I don't think I'm in position to be in those positions as at times with my emotional state and just from her background and what I know from her her doings in California as in position in law, I don't want to see someone like her in position an authority over our whole country. And I just don't think still that the world is ready for that, to have a female as an American leader yet.
I was asked, would I vote for a woman president? Amazing. Democrats finally figured out what a woman is. Think about it.
You sure?
Think about it. They figured out what a woman. They said because her pronouns are her and she.
Oh.
Anyway, I have no problem voting for a woman that's competent, educated, new foreign policy, someone that can stand. Because
That's
see,
important.
you got to be able to stand in front of all of these leaders and show that hey, I know what I'm talking about. You got to show who you really are.
You gotta be able to stand 10 toes
Yes.
down when you go over there,
Yes.
because they're gonna look at you like,
Yes.
be pleased.
Yes.
They already don't even respect Biden like they should.
They don't respect that. When I forgot what country Vice President Harris went to, and I think it was somewhere down in South America. She went to this country, and he introduced her to speak first, and she said, "Tag, you're it." So I'm like, wait a minute.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did. So I'm like, see, that's an
It
embarrassment.
is very embarrassing.
How can you say you want to lead this country? I want the United States of America to be strong, to make decisions.
Taken seriously.
Yes, not play games. We don't play. If you take my if you mess with me, my people, oh, I'm coming for you. Not standing around talking about he. I don't need all of that.
I just want to ask the people this. How did you feel when Trump was in office and somebody made a threat to us? Was you walking around still watering your flowers like ain't shit about to happen to us? Versus today, you watch the news and you like, oh God, you feel me? Like, it's like, okay, let me do my favorite things today, because today might be the last day. Do you really want to feel like that? You know what I mean? I mean, you do feel that energy right now. It doesn't feel safe with the people we have in leadership. And I want to feel safe. I want to know that whoever's in leadership is not getting punked. We know Biden is not holding us an assertive conversation with anybody doing nothing wrong. He cannot. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, that's what we want. That's what we need, especially in this time.
We need a strong person to stand firm, say what they mean and mean what they say. Not the wishy-washy, flip-flop. I'm against fracking. Now I'm for fracking. I'm against, and now I'm for. I'm against the wall. Now I want the wall.
Exactly.
I don't, that flip-flop stuff, I can't. I put it like this. I tell people I'm too young to play games.
Okay.
We can't. You can't.
I feel you.
You can't play games. What's going on in the world is serious. If we don't take it for being for real, people are not playing. Those are real guns and bombs and missiles and all of that being shot over there in Ukraine and Russia and Israel and wherever.
We're just being a little too cocky and comfortable about that not happening on our own territory, on our own land.
What was 9/11? If that wasn't a wake-up call. And now we got a country with 20 million people. We don't know who they are, where they are.
Okay.
And we're just going to think, we're going to look up one day and somebody will be knocking on your door. So I believe that
and then they want to take our guns.
Right. Well.
And, that's for a whole nother show. I'm just like, don't register all of them. I know, everybody wants to be CPL holder. I'm like, I'm not so big on that. I don't want them to know I got one, because, when the things come down to when they come to start taking them, oh, I don't have one. You know what I mean? Like, it's getting that out. I really feel that in the air. Like, you guys are not taking things seriously enough,
and we need to.
Yeah, they're not watching the news. Like, the agreement that was just made with the nukes and the bombs the other day.
With what country?
I was watching it, I believe this morning, the other morning, half sleep. But Biden agreed to do some stuff. I'm gonna have to update you.
I do know that on the 22nd of September, now they've been talking about this for a little while. he wants to give over our sovereignty to the UN, which means the UN is it UN or who?
We gotta. When is November? No, January.
They're talking about they were going to do it back in 2 years ago, 22, but African countries said no, we're not going for it. They stopped it because they wanted to take over. I think it might have been who, World Health Organization, where not the UN, but the World Health Organization, where they can say it's a pandemic and put you under lockdown again, tell you can't do this, you can't do that. So there were African countries that said, Ghana's bad. Ghana said, no, we're not doing that. And they had to have so many countries, and they didn't have that many countries. So it stopped from doing that. So then President Biden said that when it comes up again, he would like for the United States to hand over, and that's what you're doing. You're handing over your sovereignty to tell another country, to World Health Organization, you control us.
And if y'all didn't like that last lockdown, 3-4 years ago, you didn't like that fake ass, situation that they blew up. And I believe stress increased people's death rates and fear. It's real.
It's real when they're killing how many cows in a production plant. Is it production? That they killed all the cows, or I don't know how many heads of cows that they kill. I'm noticing a lot of production plants that have chickens. Chickens are being, I know personally of 2 small people that had chickens. Okay, chickens used to weigh 3-4 pounds. Okay, they don't weigh that anymore. You don't feed chicken oats. Chickens eat what's on the ground. They eat the bugs, and they eat stuff. Okay, and they gain weight and stuff. Now we got these little white looking chickens. Chickens shouldn't look like that. They're not, chickens are not plump. So, but anyway, we used to, they had a chicken farm, and her chickens would weigh 3 to 4 pounds. They cost a little bit more. They were organic because she fed them. They were free range, pasture raised chickens, and they ran about $15, but you got a great chicken. Now, what are chickens? What's chickens? It's expensive. But they set her farm on fire too. 2 people I know farms were set on fire. Laser, that laser thing they do.
And see, people don't think this shit is, excuse my language, but that just made me mad. People don't think that this stuff is real,
It is.
But when people that it's personally happened to, and you're like, there's no sign of, a fire department can't tell you how this fire started.
They sure can't. They can't. Go to Hawaii. Look what happened in Hawaii. Do you remember that fire? Okay. It skipped.
There's no way that it could have did that.
It skipped.
No way.
It skipped over water and went to...
I mean, if you've ever lit a cigarette or anything close to your eyelash, your eyelash got singed.
Yeah.
So how the hell?
I know. I know.
They want us to think that we don't know, that we don't know, what we know. But I mean, some of us actually paid attention in school.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's one thing I like. I actually learned about politics in school because of the fact that's what they taught. They don't teach you that anymore.
No.
You don't learn civics. You don't learn American history like it used to be. You don't learn things.
It's an option in college.
Well,
you know,
see,
an option that you're not going to take if it's not a prerequisite for your degree. You know,
but then you're not learning anything. We learn how to write checks. Who can write a check? Who can balance a checkbook? Who knows what's in their account? I mean, we just spend money and forget that we got to pay bills.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of things that I was taught have been eliminated from school, and they're dumbing us down.
Oh, yes.
Dumbing us down where we're being dumbed down for what? Whose purpose?
Someone's, and it's programming, and it's a lot, and you can see it, and it's kind of like people are almost robotic, and the people that are like more like us that can't be programmed or persuaded easily, we're crazy ones.
Well, yeah, they do say, they do say that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I am informed, I'm educated, but I don't have a problem if you call me a name.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem. If you want to call, no problem. I don't get mad about it. I'm not going to get upset because I'm not going down the path that you want me to go down. And that's what we have to the Bible says the road is wide. It is, because everybody's on this road, but I'm going a different way than what everybody's going. And I think we need to wake up and not follow the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the crowd can fall off the hill doesn't mean I have to fall off of it. Exactly. So we just need to wake up, recognize that the world is not the way. It's not that way anymore. The world is different now. This is 2024. You're going in 2025.
And what you see is definitely not what you get. You are, a lot of stuff is, it's not what you think it is.
That's true.
We
need to wake up.
Yeah. And so it's hard to make people believe some of the things we're saying or to understand, because what they see every day, what's being televised, what's being heard on the radio, what's being put in front of them, and who are we, these little people? So how do you know this? These people, and so I can get how people are easily persuaded and or programmed, but just do a little insight, a little reading, a little research on your own.
That's true.
Before November, you got a couple weeks.
Yep.
You might want to stay away from the debates. I think Trump said he was pulling out from doing anymore.
Right.
Because it's like not beneficial or conducive to his, his organization, because they're only making him look out to be crazy. Mm-hmm. And like I said, with the research I've done, I may look crazy to some of you that have not done your research, but I'm not with the Democrats this season. I'm not. And I don't usually choose according to a color, Demo red or red, blue, whatever. I go off of who is more beneficial to the cause that I believe of humanity.
Right.
So you do your research on Kamala. If you're going off of race, she's not done great things for your race in the state of California.
No, not at all.
Not at all. There's probably, like I said, there's probably someone you're related to in jail because of something very minute that she sent them to before. Mm-hmm. And then she let out people that should have been in there for a long time that continue to do crimes and hurt people. So, just like I said, do your research. And I hope that today's insight and what we've taught and share with you today. We asked for you Democrats to come and join us. I did a couple times for a couple weeks. No one joined. No one wanted to come and get their input. So you guys got our input, and I hope it was great knowledge for you guys today. And you can do some further research. And in November, do the right thing. If you're not registered to vote, you can do so online, and you can also do so via Facebook. I heard they did inbox me about registering to vote. I'm already registered, but there's plenty platforms and ways to register. So you guys, this season is very important to register and vote, not just complain about the results. Right. Vote. Make sure you get your word out there. That's the way you get your word out there.
And stop thinking that your vote doesn't matter. And it does.
It does. That's how Barack became president. It wasn't a bunch of white people that voted for him. It was y'all. Okay. So thanks again for joining me, Miss Brenda, on the D for the Week
No
show. And I
problem.
love to hear your insight. Because a lot of that stuff I didn't know. Like the 2030, I'm going home and look into that more tonight
Oh,
and take some notes and maybe do another show. I'm gonna go downtown hopefully soon and get some people's input live on why they're voting for where they're voting for and who they're voting for, and maybe they can help and educate us even more. And again, thank you for joining us. And you're watching the D for this week show, you guys. And if there's anything you like to elaborate on, give us more input, anything that we didn't touch upon, feel free to comment. We're going to probably have a second show on this before we go to vote. But again, you guys do your research and vote accordingly. And thanks for watching the D for the Week show. See you next time.